Hey my scrappy friends, and welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's share is for Scrapping Clearly, and I am playing along. Actually, I'm not playing along with anything. I don't know what I'm thinking. I am playing with some of this really awesome, busy, fun, funky paper by Ella Viv. I will be honest, I was a bit terrified to start with, but I really am happy with the end result. I toyed for a little while with the idea of doing mixed media because that background is so busy already, but I just kind of went, yep, I'm going to. So I've started with my 2-inch silicone Prima brush. These things are awesome. You hardly use any gesso or any medium, whatever you're using. It goes on super thin, it dries super quick. It's just great. I love this thing. It's fantastic. There are some still left in the store too, so make sure you grab one if you don't have one already. They make it so quick and easy. And this 2-inch one, obviously you get more coverage with each time you swipe. So yeah. The photo that I'm using there is of my big boy and a friend of ours. We have been to their horse farm a couple of times. You would have seen me scrapbooking some photos of my big boy on the horses. But I chose this title because Jacob is totally in his element, totally and completely in his element when he's looking after these horses. He really enjoys going out and helping our friends to feed and water the horses, and he's quite interested to put all the feed together for them, and yeah, he absolutely loves being there. So that's why I've chosen this title, which is another of the Heidi Swap phrases. I've used the gunmetal foil on that because I just thought that it was enough foil with not too much distraction, because that background, like I said, is super busy already. There's a little bit of yellow in the background of that paper that I'm using, so I decided to map my photo in this bright yellow cardstock that I got in my kit as well. Just trimming that down, and there is just a super fine yellow border around there. Toyed with the idea for a little while of layering up some of these offcuts from the Photo Play Boys Rule collection, and decide that no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with my mixed media and this yellow, and I do add some vellum behind as well. So my background is all dried, and I'm going to go in with some stamping. I've got a couple of texture stamps and my VersaFine black ink, and I'm just randomly going to stamp all over the place. This one has messy little textury stars. This one is a hexagon, I think. Yep, honeycomb, hexagon, and again I'm just going to randomly stamp that all over the background as well. You can see that I'm not even re-inking my stamp at all. I don't need to. I think I give that a quick blast with the heat tool to make sure it's dry. Yep. And then I'm going to come in with my mixed media. Using my Distress Oxide ink pads, I use 2 blues, a green and a yellow, and I will let you know the colours as I go. I'm going to start first with faded jeans onto some plastic packaging, spritz it with some water and smush it down. You've all seen me do this before plenty of times. I really love these oxide inks. They're just so, I love the finish. They're fun to work with. There's so many different ways you can use them. So I'm just doing a couple of coats, making sure I dry in between layers and between colours. This one is the Blueprint Sketch, which is more of a brighter blue, but I like the way that lifts the blues in the background. Now, because I have used the gesso, I get more of the watercolory, water stainy kind of look happening. This is Cracked Pistachio, and I wanted to just add a little bit of green just for a bit of contrast. Who doesn't love blue and green together? It seems to be one of my favourite combos at the moment. And I'm just doing the same technique again. Now what am I doing? I have dried that in between each coat. And I'm going to come in with splatters now. starting with the faded jeans, just adding some water and splattering that around with my paintbrush. Now I mixed up way too much colour there, and rather than waste it, I've just pulled out an art journal and I'm just going to smush that leftover colour straight onto my art journal page. There was no rhyme or reason to the page I picked, I just opened it up, it was a blank page, and off I went. I'm going to do that with all of the leftover ink from all of the colours. I don't think I recorded that though. So next colour is a blueprint sketch. That's a bit of a mouthful. Maybe I think I started with a blueprint sketch and then did the faded jeans. I don't know. Making sure I'm drying in between layers. Now I did get impatient. So I did try to soak up some of the water with a paper towel, and I ended up bleaching the colour out. So if you don't know, if you add water splatters to the oxide inks, it lifts the colour, which is really awesome if that's the look you're going for, but it wasn't the look I was going for. So I was a little bit upset with myself. I think I was putting this together just before I had to do the school run, so I was consistently checking the time. So I've done all my splatters and I decided I'm going to add the fossilized amber here. I wasn't sure when I started exactly how I was going to add this, but I decided to do some stamping. And you can't really see it here on the video, but you can see it in the close-ups. And I love the extra colour and contrast that it gives. And it matches the yellow in the background really well. I'm going to do some yellow splatters. Add some more. My paintbrush, my goodness, I can't speak today. My paintbrush wasn't wet enough, so I just had to add a bit more water. So I left that to dry naturally, and I wasn't happy with the yellow I got. I will show you in just a second exactly what I've done. So you can see all those yellow spots there. I've actually pulled out my colour shimmer pot in Sunshine. They're the ones that I'm showing you. And you can see this one down here that's much more subtle, which is the Distress Oxide. Now, if you wanted the more subtle colour, then definitely that looks great, but I wanted more of a pop of yellow. So I have pulled out that colour shimmer pot. I activated that with water and just sprinkled the same way I did with everything else. You can see that at the bottom left-hand side of the screen there. So I've pulled out my rubber charms from the U Rock collection. I immediately thought I was going to use this black tag. And I start playing with a few other bits. I love the way that rad looks there. I thought about bringing the black onto the photo, but decided that I really preferred the grey. Then I pulled out these arrows from Heidi Swap and the star. Move everything over a squidge. So I was trying to get a bit of a triangle happening because it looked unbalanced without 3 lots of the veneer. So that's what I end up doing with those. And I play with this up here for a little while. Then I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. So I'll put them aside. And then I decide I'm going to work on the layers behind my photo. Now I'm not going to make you watch this. I do tear all the edges of this piece of vellum and stick it behind my photo. And there's actually 2 layers there. I was left with a bit of a strange offcut, so I just decided I may as well do a couple of layers, just for a bit of extra texture and dimension and layers. I'm just ruffling up the edges, and I have, oh no, I'm about to now. I'm going to mount this on some card, just so it's off the background. You see here, I pull that off because I realised that I wanted to staple the rubber charms on. Add some more adhesive and get that stuck down again. Add my other rubber charm to the top. and time to get sticking. So how are you? How's life? What's been going on? Have you had much scrappy time? We have busy, busy, busy lives this week. It's my husband's birthday this week and we're heading out tonight. Sorry, not my camera. It's literally at my head height. I use my not my camera. I use my phone on a selfie stick on a tripod, and it comes over behind my head, and it's literally at head height. I'm using just like I can't remember exactly what this is called, but it's like a watercolor black pencil, just to add a bit of shadowing behind my title, just so it stood out a bit more. I've gone all the way around it, not all the way around, but to the right below, so I've got that shadow, and then I'm just activating all that with a little paintbrush just to make it pop a little bit. Decided I wanted to add a bit more black, so I'm going to colour these veneer pieces with my VersaFine ink pad. Now, this ink did not want to dry, and like I had my heat gun on it for ages. Am I just being special? Tell me, what who else uses VersaFine ink? And do you find that it takes forever to dry? And like, I've never had it take so long to dry on anything besides wood veneer. It's crazy. So let me know. Maybe I'm special. Maybe I missed something, but let me know. So I'm just going ahead and sticking all my bits down, starting with that star. I'm using my tweezers because that ink is still wet. I blasted it with heat gun for ages. And I didn't want to get black all over my fingers and then touch other things. So here is where I decide I'm going to add those couple of arrows there. Now, because I was having so much trouble with getting that ink to dry, I went, you know what, I'm just going to use my Sharpie marker. So here I go. I'm going to colour in with my Sharpie marker. I can tell that the black of the Sharpie marker is not as black as the black of the VersaFine ink. However, I did a couple of coats and it's not as noticeable to my eye anymore. I don't think that most normal people, like, you know, my children or my husband, when they look through the albums, will notice. So I don't think it's really a big deal. However, if you decide to do this and decide to switch it up, just be aware. The Sharpie marker is not as black as the black VersaFine ink. Going to add my journaling. First I tried with my white Posca paint pen, but that background just, no, it just wasn't going to work. And as it is, I end up using my black food ball marker, and it's funny, it kind of blends into the background with all the busyness, which I have no issue with whatsoever. It's still legible. The journaling is still there, but I was just surprised. And it basically just says what I said before about the photo, about how he's so in his happy place, which is surprising. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect that from him. It's okay. So I decided I wanted to add a bit more light. So I've grabbed my white gesso, I'm adding some water. I'm using a little paintbrush at the moment to get some little white splatters everywhere. And then I'm going to use my big paintbrush and do exactly the same thing. I'm pretty sure that finishes the layout off. Yes, so we're all done. That's my finished page. Here are the close-ups. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I was a bit terrified when Kylie said that she was sending me these beautiful papers. They're absolutely stunning. I have linked them in the blog post so that you can see all of the papers in the range, so make sure you go have a look. All the links to everything is below. If you have any questions, please leave them below. As always, thank you ever so much for stopping by. Thank you to my ever consistent subscribers. Welcome to all of my new subbies. And I shall see you again very soon. Have a fantastic scrappy day. Bye.